John Rutledge by Alex Romero. John Rutledge was the oldest child in a large family in Charleston, South Carolina. His father was an Irish immigrant named John Rutledge Sr. His mother was born in South Carolina. Her name was Sarah Rutledge. John Rutledge had six younger siblings named Andrew, Thomas, Sarah, Hugh, Mary, and Edward. One of John's brothers even signed the Declaration of Independence. John Rutledge studied and pursued a legal career at Mid-Temple. He had always been interested in law ever since he was a kid and pretended to play lawyer. A court case he had was the United States vs. Peters. This incident happened in international waters, and the court ultimately ruled that the federal district had no jurisdiction in these waters. Washington himself to become the Chief of Justice. He later became the first nominee to be rejected by Senate. He also had Federalist beliefs. He briefly came back and became the Chief of Justice in 1795. Then the Senate voted against him, and he later resigned, becoming the first Chief of Justice to resign. He then died 5 years later in 1800.
Our Supreme Court case is Gonzalez versus Reich.
Who was involved in this case? Alberto R. Gonzalez, the Attorney General, and respondent Angel McClary Reich. When did this case happen? The Gonzalez versus Reich case was granted June 28, 2004, argued November 29, 2004, and later decided on June 26, 2005.
Where did this case originate? The Gonzalez versus Reich case originated in Reich's hometown of Oakland, California. What happened in the case? Angel McClary Reich was legally permitted to use medical marijuana and grew her own at home. Federal agents came in, seized, and destroyed Reich's plants. Reich then proceeded to sue the federal government. Why did this case go to the Supreme Court? The Gonzalez versus Reich case was brought to the Supreme Court after Reich brought an action seeking injunctive and declaratory relief preventing enforcement of the Federal Comprehensive Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act, otherwise known as the CFA. What was the decision? The Supreme Court decided that through its Commerce Clause, Congress had the power to regulate the use of homegrown marijuana in a state where consumption for medical purpose is legal because in aggregate, activity could have a substantial effect on interstate commerce.